As a cyclist, have you wondered if Bone Conduction headphones are the right product for you? Well, I'm gonna talk about that today. I'm gonna discuss my experience with Bone Conduction, and I'll share my thoughts about the Haylou versus the Shokz versus some others in the industry and what the pros and cons are of Bone Conduction. By the way, I'm in Valencia, just rode up Col d'Ornette. It's really hot right now. What's up guys, what's up cycling fanatics? Welcome back to another review video. I've got a lot of Bone Conduction products to talk about today. Yes, this is a sponsored video. And that's because all these brands send out their products for free. Gives me a reason to make a video like this. And because I do think it is an interesting product for us cyclists, I want to talk about it. Many of you guys asked me for a full review of the Shokz, but how can I rate a product that I've never used before without testing different brands or different options? This would be like your grandma riding a road bike for the very first time, then doing a review about it and saying her butt hurts when she rides it. Earlier this year, I had 2 units being sent to me on top of the 4 that I'm going to talk about in this review. So I have 6 Bone Conduction headphones that I've tested in the last few months, so I can say I do have a little bit of experience with them. I wasn't really interested in to make a review video for every separate product, so that's why I'm compacting them in one video. But first I want to explain what Bone Conduction actually is. You see, this is a bone conducting headphone, and the thing you see goes around your ear and it doesn't go inside your ear. It's kind of funny. How it works is this skips the outer ear and it transmits a certain vibration into your inner ear, where it's then sent to your brain, where you have the perception of sound, music, people talking, podcasts, whatever you want to listen. It's kind of interesting. And the big selling point of these units is that it's open ear, so it leaves your ears open for the rest of the world, which would create a certain amount of safety when you're in traffic, outside, running, cycling, etc. It's been around for a couple of years. I think the brand that's most known by people is Shokz, but hello Haylou, they have a really nice product, maybe not as well known, but it's one to keep an eye out. I'm gonna first explain how I experience Bone Conduction, if I think it's worthy for a cyclist, and then I'll talk about the differences in the 6 units that I've tested. So I'm riding in Valencia today, or from Valencia, whatever you want to call it, going up Col d'Ornette. And I want to just share my experience and let you know what I think, if Bone Conduction is the next thing for cycling. So if you're not really into review videos, maybe just skip this one. But if you want to see how I cycle up the Col d'Ornette, what I think about this new technology, stay tuned. I think the undisputed USP, the unique selling point of Bone Conduction headphones is that it's open ear, so you can still hear your surroundings while you're actually listening to music or a podcast. For example, now that I'm walking through the city and I'm crossing the street, I can still see, hear everything around me, so it's safer. But when you're walking or doing other activities, it's a little bit different than when you're cycling. On a road bike, of course, you still have the benefit of the open ear, but you also have wind noise, which makes everything a bit more complicated. Voor kijken. I left the city, which is always good. I'm still on kind of a main road, so there's constantly cars passing me. I'm also riding slightly into a headwind, so the wind noise is definitely there, and I really need to bump up the volume of the headphone, like almost all the way up, to still be able to like enjoy either the music or be able to understand the podcast that I'm listening to, because that's actually what I use the most during cycling and listening to podcasts. I've got one little issue, because I rented the bike, but they only had it available for 2 hours, and I had a 100-kilometer ride planned all the way up and over the Col d'Ornette and then back to Valencia, and now I need to race just to get there and back. It's right there. Okay, I'm starting on called the Ornette. I'm an hour in the ride. I still have this climb up and back, and then I need to go back to the shop, so I won't make it within 2 hours. Here's the top. In the climb, when you're riding at slow speeds, it's actually really good. There's no wind noise, and the sound that you get from the headphones is crystal clear. It's not like super high quality, but I'll discuss that in Bone Conduction versus other headphones. But I'm gonna head down, full gas back to the shop. Just dropped off the bike. I was late, but they didn't make a big deal out of it, so that was nice. You know, on the descent of the Ornette, there's so much wind noise that you don't really hear anything. You just hear noise. So when I'm cycling with the Bone Conduction, I just press pause because it's too annoying. If you're listening to a podcast, you can't hear what they say. Maybe for music, it doesn't really matter because it just keeps on playing. But when it's really windy or in a descent, I either just don't take the headphone at all, or I just pause it until the noise is less. So one kind of cool thing about these Bone Conduction headphones is that they're really waterproof, and you can actually take a shower with it. And while you shower, you can perfectly listen to whatever music you want, and it's super clear. Some are even so waterproof that you can swim with them. Not these ones though. Why would you use this as a cyclist? It's because there's a few downsides of the Bone Conduction, but I'm still using it. I've actually only been using the Bone Conduction headphones since I first got one, and that's been for the last months, and I always ride with music. One thing I did notice with the Bone Conduction is the whole open ear thing, which actually makes it, you know, the more safe option in traffic and stuff, also makes it very difficult to hear whatever you're listening to. Because if you're riding in a very busy city, all you hear is noise, because there's so much surrounding noise from the city, cars, people, music, and all that stuff, which comes into your normal ear. And then there's the Bone Conduction sending podcasts or music into your inner ear. So everything comes at the same spot, and it just turns into a lot of noise. Similar happens when you're going into the wind or when you're descending fast on the bike. Then there's so much wind noise entering your outer ear, and then there's the music or the podcast entering your inner ear at the same time. It's just, you just hear noise. So usually when I'm either in traffic or on a fast descent or riding in with a lot of wind, I just pause whatever I'm listening to, because it doesn't really make sense to keep on listening. I've also noticed when I'm in traffic in the city and I'm listening to a podcast, I'm actually not listening because I'm more focused on what happens around me. So it doesn't really make sense to listen to it because you're not actually listening to it. So yeah, this is sort of the plus and the downside of the whole open ear thing. If you would be riding with in-ear headphones with noise cancellation, you would not be bothered by all this noise coming from the outside. But if you're riding in traffic, that's the whole problem actually, that you need to know what's happening around you. I used to have headphones like this. This is just a standard one that comes with the iPhone. This actually gives a lot of wind noise as well. Also, they start to irritate a bit after a few hours. I've also tried a bunch of other headphones with these things around your ear and inner ear headphones, which have good quality, good noise reduction, but they really hurt in my ear after a few hours. So I just don't really like them. The Bone Conduction quality of the music is relatively low when you compare it to a good quality headphone. For example, this one that I used to edit, or a good quality in-ear headphone. But when I ride my bike, I'm not that concerned about how like really good the quality actually is. I just want to listen to my podcast so I can keep learning while I ride my bike for hours and hours. Or I want to hear some music when I'm smashing my intervals. I've got some motivational music in my head. The quality doesn't really matter that much, and then the comfort to me is way more important. Another thing why I use it, I ride a lot with the kids. I ride with the kids in the trailer behind my road bike or behind my gravel bike, and they usually go to sleep for an hour and I listen to my music. When I would ride with loud music in in-ear headphones, I would not be able to hear whenever they wake up, when Sam needs to go to pee or whatever. When I have my open ear headphone, I can still sort of keep connection with them. I can hear if they're smashing each other's head or not. So it gives me an extra dimension. Another thing is that it's just super easy to use. I turn them on, they connect.
Welcome to Shokz. Battery low. Connected.
And I play whatever audio I want to play on my phone, and it works. It just works. I think a few years ago the Bluetooth headphones weren't that good, and I actually prefer to have a headphone with a cable, which would always work. But actually these headphones with the cable and also the built-in microphone, they're not waterproof. I've broken a few of these when I was riding in the rain. These are waterproof, they connect super fast. I didn't have any issues. So yes, I really like them. I don't see the benefit of having a cable anymore. The last thing is they're super durable, man. You can twist and turn them any way you like. I just throw them in my bag. You can even put it in your pocket. It doesn't really matter. So, if you want to use Bone Conduction headphones, which of these units should you be buying? I'm going to go over them. I'm going to show how they come out of the box, and I'll talk about the pros and cons of the different units. Starting with the Shokz, these ones are very nicely packed. If you find that interesting, then you would like these packaging. I don't really care about how it's packed. I only care about the product that's inside, but I'm gonna show you anyway. So this is the Shokz Open Run. They all come with a specific charging cable. So there's different in all these units. So you can't use the same cable for different units. And this one has a magnetic connection, so that's actually really nice. This is empty, nothing too interesting. This is nice, a travel pouch. You just squeeze it in here if you are taking it along the way. Second up is the Haylou. Packaging, very similar. Has a nice case, has all the information on the outside of the case. Opening this thing up. Comes with also a proprietary cable, very similar as the Shokz. It just jumps to the right spot. Both these units have fast charge, so if you charge it, it will charge to almost 100% within a very short amount of time. Other things in the box, this one actually has earplugs. Interesting, so if you use these earplugs, you can still use the Bone Conduction headphone, and actually it will cancel the noise from the outside. So maybe in an airplane, that's nice. Number 3, the Naenka. The box is a little bit simpler. All the information again on the outside. There's no outer shell around the box, and then the inside is also a little less fancy than the Shokz and Haylou. And also this one connects with a magnetic. This one is specifically made for swimming, so it's the diver runner. This one is fully waterproof. The shape is very different as the other ones we've seen. Also comes with earplugs. Last one, the Wissonly. I think the box of this one is the least fancy. It does have the outer shell, but this one has nothing written down on it. And then the inside is quite simple. But like I said, I only care about the product that's inside. Again, a different shape. I'm going to talk about these shapes when I compare them. Accessories, same. A cable, like all of them, magnetically. So here we have the 4 units side by side, Shokz, Haylou, Naenka and Wissonly. Personally, I really prefer the first two. So the Shokz and the Haylou have very similar shapes. And then the Naenka and the Wissonly are actually a bit different. The last two are fully waterproof. So if you're looking for a unit that you can swim with, then you should be looking at one of these two. They're both IPX8 waterproof, and they have internal memory. So you can basically put some songs on the unit, and then listen to it while you're swimming. I don't swim, so I don't really care about the whole waterproofing thing. I only care about the comfort of the units. And for me, these two were not really comfortable. The spacing of the unit here was too small. It was really pressing against the back of my ear on this side, so it really started hurting. And I had exactly the same with the Naenka. This is probably a personal preference. Coming back to the Haylou and the Shokz are really the units that I prefer, and I've been using these all the time. If we put them side by side, you can really see they just look very, very similar. The shape is almost the same. The button layout is the same. They've got two buttons here and here. They've got one button on the other side, which you can use to press play or pause your song. For the rest, the comfort of those units is very, very similar. So I really enjoyed riding with these two. Then if we go to the audio quality, I think, again, the Shokz and the Haylou are very, very similar. All of the units actually generate a bunch of vibration when you crank them up all the way to the highest volume. And sometimes you need the high volume to go over the noise that you're experiencing from the outside world. So for example, in traffic or the wind noise. So then you do experience the vibration on your temple, which can be kind of weird. If we talk just about the looks, I actually think the Haylou is the winner. It's very, very clean, very sophisticated. It looks super nice. The Shokz is a very good runner-up. It's almost the same. It just has some little edges which are a little less. They are almost the same. Then the Wissonly and the Naenka, both of them are a fair bit lower, I think. I think the Naenka it has more like plastic in between. And I just think this whole shape is kind of funny. They promote it as being a shape of an ocean animal, but I don't really see the commonality with that. And then the Wissonly, it's simple, it looks good, but I don't like the very stiff part of the thing that goes around your ear, and it was really irritating. For the rest, it's just like all of them. They're super, super flexible. So each and every unit has that same function. And then there's one more difference. All of these units are made in China, but there's only one unit that has actual English voice, and that's the Shokz. I think because it's a Western company. And when you switch it on, it's gonna say, "Welcome to Shokz, connected." And this is a female English voice. All the other ones have English spoken, but by a Chinese person.
Welcome to Shokz. Battery low. Connected.
Welcome to Haylou. Battery high. Connected.
Power on. Bluetooth mode. Connected.
Power on. Bluetooth mode. Waiting for connection. Connected.
Which is fine. It's a Chinese company, but I do think it is a difference in sort of user experience. When you switch on your Shokz, you just hear an English voice, where when you switch on the Haylou, you hear a Chinese voice. It's only the first second and the last second of using the thing, so it doesn't really matter that much. There is quite a big difference in price. The Shokz is about 125, the Haylou is 95, the Runner Diver is 175, and the Wissonly is 170. So the actual two products that I think are the best are the cheaper ones, which is ironic. Okay, so my final take on Bone Conduction. I'm still using it, and I think I'm gonna continue using it. Mainly for the durability and the comfort of the units. Yes, the quality of these units is not the same as a high quality over-ear or in-ear headphones, but it doesn't really bother me when I'm riding my bike. The wind noise is there, but it's also there when you don't have a headphone at all, so that's not really gonna go away. And I still have the choice to be connected with the outside world, and it's just the durability and the user friendliness of these units that I really like. It doesn't sit in the way of anything. There's no wires. It connects super fast. I think it's nice. It's a good product as a cyclist. So go check it out. Both Haylou and Shokz have some deals right now. All the information is in the description with links to those products. So Let me know what you think. If you have more questions about these products in the comments, I'm gonna answer those. And if you want to see me in action racing, click up there. See ya!